Alright, T. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Non-Classics. This episode 1825 and Doubleshot number 1719. I got two Marvel trades. The first one is something that was basically a short-lived ongoing series from a few years ago. No, this was not a mini-series. This was initially released as an ongoing series. Something that apparently last year Marvel had a big problem with. Like, they launched series last year and they canceled them after a very short period of time. This was the only one that got canceled in 2019 that got canceled after this short period of time. Only 5 issues, and that was it. We have Future Foundation. Yes, this collects the entire short-lived ongoing series that was the Future Foundation. I say this was an ongoing series because it was released as one, and there was nothing in the list that says this was a miniseries. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I didn't see 1 of 5 in something of 5 in any of the solicits. Now, why was the series got canceled? Low sales. No, seriously. That was the reason the book got canceled. Low sales. I believe they made this announcement, I think it was after releasing issue 3 or 4, they were going to cancel this book because of low sales. Reading this book, I'm kind of like, why? It's actually a pretty good book. Now, here's the thing. This actually is the third, well, technically the second ongoing series for the Future Foundation because technically they've had one before. It was just called FF. Though, here's the neat thing with that one. The first 11 issues of that book were counted as part of the numbering for Fantastic Four. And for issues 12 to 24, it's all about the information himself. And they have the relaunch of Matter Fraction, which did not last very long. Lasted 16 issues compared to 23. Excuse me. This is the first one they launched the series for Future Foundation. And it was something called FF. Now, yes, they did redesign the costumes. Yes, when Hickman, when he created the group during his run for Fantastic Four, they wore white and black. That was their look. And basically with this, it's more colorful. It's more blue and white, and has initials of FF on their belt buckles. Now, the thing is, despite the fact here, you're clearly seeing the cover, the dragon apparently was in the book. No, he isn't. So the Future Foundation are off in space, and they call up in this prison stuff, and apparently they run into Reed Richards, except it's not Reed Richards, it's the Maker from the Ultimate Universe. Yes, and of course they ask the obvious question, what happened to your face? It got burned. Yeah, that was due to a trilogy of miniseries that the Ultimate Comics universe published. I think it was back in '09. I think it was was '09? Yeah, it was the Ultimate Doomsday trilogy. If you want to get an explanation of how he got the scar, that's the miniseries. Though, here's the thing. Whenever he usually appears, a lot of the time, for the past decade, he usually wears that ridiculous helmet of his. Because he's got basically an enlarged brain. Here, he's perfectly fine. No explanation of what happened to the enlarged brain. He still has the burnt scar across his face, yes. But no explanation of why his head shrunk. Yeah, I don't know why for that. And also, while they're there, they run into Ricky Barnes. And you're probably asking the question, who in the world is Ricky Barnes? She is the alternate timeline sister of Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. And you might be asking the question, has Ricky ever met her awesome brother in this universe? The answer is no. She never has. Nope, never has. And basically in this book, they gave her a scar across her face. I'm like, when the heck did she get this? Now, prior to appearing in this book, the last book she appeared in was the Onslaught Unleashed miniseries, which was a continuation of the Young Allies. Shortly, ongoing series got canceled due to low sales. And she appears here, and she initially starts a romance with Julie Power. Yes, this, of course, for Julie Power comes for her like I think like a year after she broke up with Corolla, aka Luce in Sky with Diamonds. Now she's dating Ricky Barnes. Okay, perfectly fine. There's also this hilarious thing where basically do surgery on her. The fixer is like, oh, her clothes disappear, and it's implied Ricky probably saw her butt naked. And this probably, and also they had the thing where they make out, and then I love the fact that the writer of this book, Jeremy Wiley, did a great job basically developing it. It wasn't forced per se. is actually implied. Now, Julie Power, yes, I've known for a long time. I've known for a while that she was lesbian. Ricky Barnes, they never really defined her as a lesbian. Just that, oh, she's a lesbian. Okay. I don't have really initially a problem with her dating Julie Power. Don't have a problem at all. She's a beautiful woman. So, why not? This book is actually really good. And here's a shocking fun fact. Not long after the series got canceled, the Future Foundation disbanded in issue 25 of the slot run for Fantastic Four. Yep, for some reason this group is no longer active. Yeah, for some reason Dan Slott disbanded this organization. I'm not sure why. This other group is actually a pretty good idea. Now, the thing is with this book, Franklin Richards is not technically in the book per se. No. Now, basically, it just focuses on people like Ricky, well, Leech is in here, and basically anybody who's a member of the Future Foundation who is not part of the main family is in this book. I love the idea of this book. It's just that basically that the book got abruptly canceled a few years ago due to low sales. Do I think the book should have been canceled? No, but I'm glad the writer had a chance to wrap up his plot thread. Like, he basically gave a good conclusion after only 5 issues, which I at least got praised him for that. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's actually not that bad of a book. It's not terrible. It's just that... Oh, by the way, in case you're curious, though, I picked this up from Comic-Con. This was... Initial price of this book is like $15.99, which, okay. Next up is a book I really enjoy coming out, aside from Avengers. This is Occupy Avengers, Volume 1, Taking Back Justice. Excuse me. This collects the first 4 issues of the 9-issue ongoing series as Occupy Avengers. Fun fact about this book, this is actually the shortest Avengers book to date that is ongoing. Yeah, this is the shortest one. The longest one that's a spin-off book is Avengers West Coast. That's obviously the longest one. This is the shortest at only 9 issues. Now, why this series was canceled, I'll reveal that when I talk about Volume 2. This is the first 4 issues of the ongoing series. Written by David Walker. Yeah, he's the one who wrote this book. Of course, he would later after the series, and he would do No Surrender, I think it was. Yes, No Way Home. Yes, now... He's the writer of this book with Carlos Pacino as the interior artist. The cover art for the first issue 3 is done by August Alicio. Mike Davis, I don't know if this is issue 4 with Frank Martin. Issue 2 is done by Carlos Pacino, Rafael Fernandez, who was the inker, and Sonia Albuck, who was the colorist for the first 3 issues. Replaced with Will Quentin basically from issues 3 to 4. So after Civil War II, Hawkeye basically was taken to the road. Just basically, now the thing about these issues are, it's basically Hawkeye revisiting canceled titles. Short-lived canceled titles, mind you. First one he basically visits is the Red Wolf series. Yep, he runs into Red Wolf. Now, this Red Wolf is from Secret Wars. Yeah, he had a brief ongoing series after Secret Wars. That got canceled, only 6 issues. And I don't really know the reason for it. It could be low sales. It just stopped after, unlike Future Foundation, which they did announce when that book got canceled a few years ago. Red Wolf, there was no announcement the book got canceled. It just abruptly stopped with only 5 issues. And here, it's a quick 2-parter where they basically team up and they stop related to like a water stuff and stuff with water and stuff with the reservation stuff related to Red Wolf stuff. You can kind of think of these issues as basically Hawkeye wrap up a plot thread, maybe just bring in Red Wolf just to join his little team. And here's the thing. They never get a name, the entire series. The Occupy Avengers stuff is just the name of the title. They're not called Occupy Avengers. The name Occupy probably comes from a little political stuff. Now, probably due to the fact that maybe this book has political ties, that's probably the reason the book was canceled. But the fun thing with the first 2 issues is they have Hawkeye teamed up with Red Wolf take on Hydro Man. Yes, Hydro Man. And there's a funny gag in the book where Hawkeye keeps getting his name wrong. He's like, say my name. And then after this quick 2-part, which is so awesome, Red Wolf joins him. He quits his job as basically a sheriff deputy. He just travels the country with Hawkeye. And then he goes to Chicago. Yes. So he goes from the West, basically for Red Wolf's book, goes over to Nighthawk, aka Chicago. Oh, by the way, Nighthawk hates Hawkeye. Why the heck they hate each other, I don't really know. And the reason why they're here, because it follows up from a plot from the previous two issues where they basically captured a robot. And apparently the best person Hawkeye knows, who knows all about robots, is Nightshade. Yes, Nightshade. That is her name. The real name is Talia. Though, you're probably thinking, Talia go? No. This is the Marvel version. She's a black superhero, well, a black woman, who basically fought Captain America back in the 70s. Now, initially, she was brought into the Nighthawk book as a supporting character. Now, I like Nighthawk book. Now, here's the thing. David Walker didn't write Red Wolf. That was on somebody else. He did write Nighthawk. So it makes perfect sense, basically, to include him here. Oh, even though he does take off his mask, guess which Nighthawk is this guy? This guy is from the JMS Squadron Supreme universe. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And I love the fact that they can Hydra in the first two issues. Makes total sense. And here he is. Kyle Raymond, a.k.a. Nighthawk. Yep. Which is so hilarious. Like he do this all day. Really? Last time I told you, Hawkeye. If I see you again, I'd kill you. Okay, now I know you mean literally. Now, what their beef is, they don't give editors know exactly what the heck is. They fight for a while. And the reason why I hear aside from the Talia, and of course they revisited the Nest, which is basically Nighthawk's base operation. This is the base he had during his ongoing series. Basically, Nightshade served as his support in the series, from what I remember. Nighthawk himself basically is a guy who is a vigilante, who operates in Chicago. Now, in the book, because David Walker tends to throw in a little bit of racism in the book, like he did for Shaft, because I've heard he did for Shaft, because Shaft basically came out of the 70s, and he did wrote the Shaft comic book. Now, funny enough, when he did Power Man Luke Cage, there was no racism in that book. Nighthawk, there was a little bit, like a tiny bit of it, basically a pinch of it in the book, because he can't resist basically throwing in some racism, despite the fact Dave Walker's black. Yes. And basically the way Nighthawk is written is that he's basically Marvel's version of Batman. Well, this guy clearly is. And you know the weird thing is, the original Kyle Raymond has not been seen in over like almost 20 years. So this robot head will lead to a bunker, an old decommissioned shield bunker, which turned out to be one of Nick Fury's old safe houses. Yes, Nick Fury had many safe houses, and basically they basically break in and they run into Nick Fury, Dum-Dum Dugan, and Gabe Jones. Here's the strange thing about this. You see, this book came out in 2016, mind you, yes. Gabe Jones was killed off by Jonathan Hickman during his run for Secret Warriors, issue 19, mind you. I believe it was like in 2009, I think it was, that came out. Yeah, I think it was like 2009. Actually, no, it was 2010. He basically, at this point, did for 6 years. Dum-Dum Dugan was revealed to have been dead during the events of Original Sin. Though that was about Al Ewing, he later retconned it in New Avengers book, where it turns out, nope, Dugan is not dead. That was a lie. And they say Nick Fury's dead because of Original Sin. Well, he actually is not dead. Apparently, like, 2 people about to remember, oh yeah, actually he's on the moon. Actually, 3 people about to do anything with that. Jason Aaron, Mark Waid, and Dan Slott. Yeah, Nick Fury's old, and he's the Watcher at this point in time. He very rarely appears. And it appears as though more writers basically forget that. And plus, love the fact that Mike Dito had a chance to do a cover artwork, which is so awesome. Yep. So, basically, the best thing about this particular two-parter is that, well, we actually have Ray wearing this really weird coat, and basically, Nightshade falling for him. Yep. And of course, you get this sweet bass, and they and of course, basically, oh yeah, despite the fact that 2 of these guys are dead at this point, the one is actually the moon, they're all LMDs. Yep. And they all get destroyed, and so and then all of a sudden, Black Nick Fury shows up, aka Nick Fury Jr., the son of the original one. Which, by the way, I will get to his first appearance in a later Comic Con because I have my stack here. So, yeah, he's basically Rogue, and then, of course, basically, thanks to this two-parter, basically, well, Hawkeye gets himself basically, he gets his team's first vehicle, a van. And basically, his next stop is to find the Whiz Kid. No, seriously, basically, that's what they do. They go find the Whiz Kid. Now, in the case of Red Wolf, he's a time dispatch. He's someone from the past who time dispatched the future. And then we cut to, like, next thing in the trade, through in Avengers number 8081, released back in the 70s, written by Roy Thomas. Love these issues. This is a debut of the original Red Wolf, Willard Tophus. This is the debut of the original one guy who was I can find it here. Because I believe he was actually the original guy who was basically Red Wolf. Now, there have been, of course, the whole thing deals with, like, pollution and stuff like that. Now, basically, William Churchill is technically the first modern day version of Red Wolf. This book itself, 80, is technically his debut. And if you're curious, though, like, what happened after this two-parter, he could move over to Marvel Chillers, where he became a lead character in that book. Popped up for a couple issues of Incredible Hulk, popped up for Contest of Champions, first issue. Issue Defenders became a part of the West Coast Avengers for a couple issues. Issue of Daredevil, some Archon Presents stuff, Nomad, after, like, Mortal Kombat 170, which is basically the wording of that book, and then he appeared Thunderbolts 57, which came out 01, mind you, and then next appearance was in Civil War number 7, which came out 6 years later, and he popped up for a few issues of Avengers Initiative, and then he guest starred for a couple issues of Solid Spider, an issue of James Robinson Fantastic Four. He appeared for a recent issue, I think was the Captain America issue done by Recommended, which I believe was his last issue he did before it was relaunched as, I think it was like All New Captain America. And he popped up a couple of times since then, like one issue of History of Marvel Universe and Marv Voices, the Indigenous Voices. Now, he's the first modern day version of the character. His ancestor is John Weekly, and he first appeared in the very first issue of Marvel Spotlight. The very next issue was the debut of all characters, Wear Up by Night. Yep, made his debut in the very next issue. And he, of course, unlike the other Red Wolf, didn't really appear very much. He appeared in that issue, and then basically appeared in the Red Wolf ongoing series, so he got replaced by his successor. After they popped up for Blaze of Glory, the Rocket miniseries, Marvel's Legends, and that was simply it for the character. I might go into more about this when I talk about a comic history for the character, but Red Wolf, great character. I kind of wish basically they do more with the character, but the current version of the character, who made his first appearance in 1871, which is he's a Gary Duggan character. Now you might be thinking, okay, after the initial miniseries wrapped up, like, did he write the ongoing series? No, that was done by Nathan Emerson. Yeah, he did the ongoing series. Yep. And this first issue of this book was his first appearance since Werewolf number 6. Oh, yes, definitely. This came out in November 2016, this first issue. And the end of the previous ongoing series, the Werewolf ongoing, the short-lived one, which by the way was really good, that one ended in May of that year. So his next appearance was just about 6 months later. Yep. And then he pretty much basically appeared mostly in this book. Guest starred in this issue of Civil War II, The Oath. And after this book wrapped up, he guest starred in the pages of Avengers. And he also appeared in Wear Up by Night. Yes, the book I've actually reviewed. Yeah, he actually appeared in that book as a U.S. Marshal. Written by Taboo and Benjamin Earl. Yep. Book is definitely good. I love it. I will discuss the final 5 issues when I get a chance to my hands next trade. because basically it's gonna be some mild ranting because this series, man, this book is really good. So I'm gonna give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's damn good. Okay, so that's it, particular review. I might have time to do one more video tonight because I have also do streams. I'm probably gonna have some dinner soon. So next video probably be the Rise of a Hero. If not, I'll probably save that for tomorrow along with Skeleton in the World. Okay, next video. Bye.